People want to know what's really going on. What's really going on? Well, okay, there's the law of one, which means at higher dimensions, at the highest dimension, source is the source field that everything comes from. Creator. That is where everyone is from. We all are, because it exists all the time. Source exists all the time, and it's oneness. And then it branches out into higher selves, oversouls, and then incarnated in other dimensions, beings like you and I. So we're all one thing, but we are in a dimension where we appear to be separate. And what is going on is control. This was a big piece from the old book about 25 or 30 years ago, New York Times best-selling novel called The Celestine Prophecy. And it was a fictionalized story about control drama, which is the history of separate beings. I'm going to control you using 4 different techniques. You can read the Celestine Prophecy to see what they're all about. But that's what we have right now on planet Earth. We've got control by one group, and it's gone on for a hell of a long time because we didn't understand that we were all from the same source and that we were all connected. The information wasn't available. We didn't have the internet. And even the people that knew this kind of information, they just didn't have the ability to spread the information around to people. It's a big idea. And people in those days were not ready for it. They weren't ripe for it. But you're ripe for it now. So the fact is, the people who are in control and controlling you, most of them know that we are all from one source. Most of them, the higher ups especially, know it. But they still think you're going to be kept in the dark so that they can use control over you so they can continue to dominate planet Earth. The thing is that as more and more of you become aware that we're from one source, and you rise in vibration, because as you become more and more aware that we're from one source, it's just natural to go higher towards the source, higher in vibration, more and more towards enlightenment. And as your frequency increases, the collective consciousness of planet Earth rises. This is known as Earth Ascension. Or it was forecast a long time ago, in the late 1960s, this song, The Age of Aquarius by The Fifth Dimension, talks all about it. John Lennon talked about it in his song Imagine. There's all kinds of other prophecies. The whole point is it's going on now. And the people who are still using control are still trying to use horrible things to control you. So we had, again, former Canadian Defense Minister Paul Hellyer blowing the whistle, saying they are using technologies to manipulate the weather and to cause earthquakes. And the chemtrails that are being sprayed are poisoning the lakes, the fish, the water, the crops, and the people. These are very evil people we're dealing with, and they're all involved with your government. So what does it mean for you? It means you have to wake up. And then people are going to say, well, what can I do about it? And what I say is more and more of you become aware that you're all one thing at a higher dimension, source energy, and you start to investigate more and more about how do I really good and connect to this source energy. Primarily, what you're going to do is drop all your negativities. As your vibration increases and more people get on to the same frequency, which is enlightenment, all of the negative people eventually are not going to be able to handle our high vibration. And that's going to knock them on their keister. So it's not going to be a war for planet Earth. We're not going to have military against military. It's going to be our frequency of enlightenment. Our vibration will not allow these other people to operate their control drama and their evil ways. So wake up. This is what they're doing. What do you need to connect to higher source energy? Meditate. Disconnect from all of the other things you're doing. Spend time in your backyard. Don't drink booze. Don't drug. Spend time enjoying nature. Spend time having fun with children. Spend time with your pets. And talk about this stuff when it's appropriate. Talk to other people and say, this is what's going on. This is the Great Awakening. It's a spiritual awakening where you learn that you are source energy and that we're all connected. I'm Harry Weaver.